Hello everyone. Today we are going to be creating these fun Christmas ornaments. I am Angela. This is Clark Fine Art. Let's gather up some supplies and get right into it. Okay, so let's look at the supplies we will use in today's project. I have this box of 45 wood slices by Arteza. And these can range anywhere from 2.4 inches roughly to about 3.15 inches. So there's a variety of sizes. There's also a variety of shapes. So sometimes it takes a little bit to hunt and find the perfect ones for your project, but we'll be using those. Now, if you don't have wood slices, that's fine. You can still do this project. You could cut out, circles from watercolor paper or something like that. It's still very doable. These can be used as Christmas ornaments. They have the hole, and there's like a little jute string that we would attach on there. And you can use them as Christmas ornaments to hang in the tree, or you can even use these as gift tags for gifts that you're going to give. And then they'll have, you could put like the to and from information back here, and then you have the ornament, and then they could take that gift tag and then use it as an ornament. So very versatile. But again, if you don't have wood slices, not a big deal. You can do this project. And then you can even cut out some chipboard and paint it on that and still use it like an ornament or a gift tag or whatever. Use what you have. In addition, I am going to be using the Holbein Acrylic Gouache that I got in my September 2021 Paletteful Packs box. This one came from my Paletteful Packs box. So I'm going to be using this today. I'm also going to be using possibly the Signo. This is the the Uniball Signo. This is a broad and it's gold. So I've got that one, but then I also have the Faber Castell. These are metallics. I have Nothing Else Metals, and that is like a silver, and then Heart of Gold. And I tested this gold and the gold from the Uniball. I kind of tested them right here, and you can see Faber Castell is this gold, and the Uniball, this color gold. Both have some sheen to them. So I may use both. I may use one. I have no idea. We'll see. I also am using this little template for part of one of the pieces because I want to use some of the circles. And this is a Barrel Rapid Design R40 circles. I got this. My dad gave me this. This was in some of the stuff he gave me from when he was an engineer. You guys have seen my sharpener and my lead holder. Well, that was another little. I got quite a few tools that he gave me. I've got some water. My brushes are my Princeton Select brushes that have come in some of my art boxes. I also have the Robert Simmons Sapphire. This is the 8. And just in case I wanted a filbert. And then in addition, I know that when I do one of these projects, I'm going to need really fine lines. So these are just some Royal Majestic. They are the 4250 series. And I have a 30-aught and a 5-aught. So those brushes I will be calling on as well. Okay, now I'm going to go back and forth between the two of these because I'm going to want to put some paint on this one and then let it dry and then be able to come back to it and layer up. So I'm going to keep going back and forth. So I'm going to start with the snowflake one, and then we'll jump to the wreath, and then we'll go back, we'll go back and forth. I should have shown you these. Future me will have popped on in the beginning of the video and shown you what these are going to look like finished. So you already have an idea. So with these basic colors, like I'm going to mix everything I need today from just these colors. So for the snowflake one, I am definitely going to be wanting some of my blue. And this is, if I can read it for you, Sky Blue. It's right up here. Sky Blue is the color for that. I'm definitely going to be needing white. And I will certainly Now I'm going to try not to put too much out here, because unlike regular gouache, acrylic gouache, once it hardens, that's it, it's done, just like acrylic paint. And I may need to desaturate just a tiny bit. I'm going to put some black in there, but I'm also going to use black when I do my wreath. Because if you recall, see, I don't have any green here, but this sky blue, the sky blue and the lemon yellow, it's not quite the green I want because I want an evergreen. So we're going to mix the black and the yellow, and I'm going to show you what kind of a green you can get with black and yellow. I know I've mentioned this in a previous video, that is one of the ways that I like to get some of those colors. And yeah, I'm going to mix up some black and yellow to make my greens. All right. To start with, I'm going to paint my whole disc here. I want it to be a lighter color here, and then where my main snowflake is going to be, I want it to get darker so that my main snowflake will stand out more. So I'm just going to start, and actually, maybe I'll start in my shade here. I don't know how that's going to, no, I don't think so. This one's kind of big. I really would have preferred like a half inch for this project, but I don't know. I think I want to just try mixing it right on the disc. So that being said, I'm going to come in here with this white, and I know because this is wood, it is just going to suck this paint right in. So what I may do is just give it a quick coat of white and let that dry, because then when I come back on top, it'll kind of seal that in. And then I can, and if it gets a little, I'm doing snow, so if I get into the, the wood edge on this, it doesn't bother me. It's just going to look like a little snow sitting on there. Yeah, so I'm just going to paint all of this, fill it in. And I know this wood is going to cause this to dry so quickly, and that's okay. I just want to get a nice base. I'm not sure what color I want. I may leave the wood, the natural wood in the center on the other one. So see how much that used? It's sucking it right in. So I can't even really move it around. But now that I'll have this on there, once that dries, it should be much easier. It should be much easier to layer up and add more. So let's get that on there nice and smooth. All right, I'm gonna let that start to dry. So now that I'm letting that one dry, I'm going to jump over here to my wreath. I'm just going to keep bouncing around on you guys. And that will dirty up your water real fast. I have a feeling this water is going to get pretty gross, and I may have to grab a different thing of water. There we go. Okay. I'm going to want some yellow. And I'm actually going to take a little bit of this, I'm going to take a little bit of this black. Put it right there. I'm going to put a little bit of this yellow right in it. Let's see what kind of green we get. See, you end up with like a very earth tone greens when you do that. When you mix your black and your yellow, I just love the way that they work. And now these are going to be very matte, but I think at the end, once they're dry, I'm going to try to take some clear gloss medium, or gloss varnish, and paint right over them. So then they'll be nice and shiny. So if you did hang them in the tree, like, they would catch the reflection of the lights in the tree. And so here, I'm just going to do a wreath. So if I'm doing a wreath, I'm just going to tap this in, and I'm just tapping. I'm going to want it to look like it could be the natural branches. So I'm just going to start with a base, and actually I'm going to follow the rings of my circle right around the rings from the growth rings on the tree. to get the start of my wreath. So I'm just tapping. If I tap out like that, if I go forward, then I kind of get a nice little like branch effect. So I can just keep going around and start to get a nice branch. Just like when you're actually making your wreath. You just keep tucking your branches in as you go. But the bristles are splaying out some, and it gives me a nice little texture detail. I don't know how much of that you guys can see, but it does bring up a nice textured detail. And I had a lot on the brush there. Too much. That's okay. We'll throw an ornament in there, and it won't even matter. And we're going to come back and layer on this as well. These are very quick and easy to do. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the year, right? If I was going to give this as a gift, especially if it's like an ornament. We used to collect ornaments. Like every year we'd get a new ornament. And then, all the ornaments had a story. I love that. All the ornaments on our tree, there's a little story that goes along with them, and it's fun. It's fun to reminisce as you put the tree up. Okay, so there's the base layer of my wreath. You see how easy that was? It's just dab, dab, dab all the way around. And you're going to have some spacing. That's fine. We're going to take this color, and I'm going to grab a little bit of white. I can get some out of here. And I'm going to lighten this up just a bit. And I'm going to need some water because this is wanting to dry really quickly. And I actually need water, which I'm making now green. So that very light version now. Okay, so I have a very light green and a mid green. My darkest green being what's already on there. Okay, so now I'm going to come back through. Just getting a lot of this. There's a lot in my brush. I don't want too much. And I'm going to go again, but here I'm just going to kind of not press as hard. And I'm going to get some of that different value in there. I still want to be able to see the other value come through. And I'm not seeing a ton of difference in that one. I think I need to do just a little bit more of the light in there. Make it just a little bit lighter. Get some of that excess paint out of my brush because I don't want big globs. I want my brush to be almost dry, almost like dry brush technique. There we go. Just go back around. Maybe if I see some white spots, I can cover that. Again, I don't want all my dark to be hidden. there's your little wreath effect. So now we need to let that dry. I'm gonna set that aside, and this is pretty much, still feels a little, could be a little damp, but I don't know what I just got on there. I think it was a piece of the bark from touching the outside. And it's like grabbing a whole, I gotta rinse this brush out. Now we've got some really wonderful water. So far I am liking the gouache so far. And I'm actually going to just take, I have that little mister here. This was actually came with my Tombow set. I just want to, that was a lot. I just want to put a little, I really just want a little mist over them, just to help keep them from drying out. I don't want them to dry out till I'm done using them. All right. Now, let's see. Oh, I'm gonna need more white because I used up my white with my greens up there. Okay, so we'll put some more white over here. Okay. All right. I'm just grabbing my 3/8 angular shader just to see. So I'm gonna start and I'm gonna put on some of this white, and then let's see if we can get it to mix right on. Grabbing some of that blue, and look at that. Look at it just mixing together right there. All right, I just want to blend that in. Grab some more of this white. Because I really want the upper right side to be lighter. And I want it to get darker as it goes. And I'm going to have snow, so I'm not too worried about everything being perfectly, perfectly smooth, or no brush strokes, or seeing unevenness in the blending. I'm not worried about that. Oops. So I pull my little palette with me, grabbing more of this white, pulling it right through that blue. Getting a little darker than I wanted to up here. And it definitely dries so fast on this wood because the wood just wants to suck it all in. What probably would have been best is if I gessoed it first. And I've been thinking about using, I have some of the Daniel Smith watercolor ground. I've thought about putting some of that on one of these slices and doing like a watercolor on one. I think that would be so cool. Have you guys tried it? Have you tried the Daniel Smith watercolor ground? Or even I think Golden makes a watercolor ground. I don't know. Have you guys tried it? If you have, drop me a comment. Let me know. What do you think? And what kind of surfaces have you treated with it so that, ooh, look at, that's really dark. All right, so I'll pull that because I don't want it too dark. I'm gonna rinse that out. I definitely want the area where my snowflake is gonna end up to be in a, yeah, that's better. Oh yeah, I like that much better with those blending. There we go. But have you used watercolor ground? And if so, what kind of surfaces have you used it on? And was it successful using it on those surfaces? Because I know some surfaces, you know, I don't know that to say that they're the best surface for it. I don't know. I haven't used it. I haven't tried it. So I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think. All right, I need to brighten this back up. Just going to keep, just trying to get a nice balance here. Get a color. Again, it's snowing. It's hard to hold these little circles. I don't mind if I get, you see how that's like, I'm getting some smear. I'm going to mix this into a lighter blue right in this well. I'm going to bring in some water. There we go. And we're just going to go over it. Remember what I've said about spending so much time on our backgrounds? So easy to do that. I just want to brighten this little corner up. I'm going to bring a bit more of this white over here. I just want to lighten that up even more without ruining all of my white. So I'm going to want to, I do need to have some white, but I am also going to need to have some nice light blue for other parts. So this water is filthy. Not necessarily my best choice to be mixing with my blue, but that's, you know. All right, and I'm just leaving whatever was left on my brush and just gently pulling that over. Okay, rinse that out. There. Okay, so now I want to let this guy dry. And actually, might be still. Yeah, I'm just pulling back. I want a little bit more of the dark. I brought it a little too far into the dark. There we go. And now I'm just going to bring back over. I'm just trying to get that happy medium there, that happy blend. I should be pulling some of that water out of my brush. All right, there. Leaving it alone. I am stopping. I'm listening. Listening to myself. Okay. So now I want I'm going to want to put a red bow on my wreath. So I'm going to get a little bit of red. I will end up putting the red bow. I'm not going to get a lot, but I will end up putting a red bow, and I will get a, oops, I'm using my number 5 round now, again, Princeton Select brush. I also want maybe some red dots on my wreath. That maybe they're ornaments, maybe they're berries. You know, it just depends, I guess, on how you do them. All right, setting that one aside again so that can dry. This is still wet. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to clean my brush out, and now my water becomes purple. Okay, I have a paint puck in there, and I love that paint puck because that totally cleans your brush out so well. Move the shader back there. I know I'm not going to need that, or the whiter wash. Okay. I think I'm going to put some sparkle on this. And so this, again, is the Faber Castell. Let's see how well this works on here. Ooh, I like it. So I'm going to just do kind of random here and there. If I see a little white spot, I put it on there. Kind of spacing them out. I think I'm going to use all three colors and just be able to add some sparkle to my wreath. I'm just looking if there's any odd bare spot. I don't think so. Ooh, look, can you guys see how it shimmers and sparkles? Imagine when the tree lights catch that. So now the color that I think will stand out the best on this light wood is definitely the gold. So I'm going to take that one and I'm going to just put right in the center here 20. Oh, as I try to touch it as I'm moving, 2021. I made it work for me. Right where I touched it, I just turned that into the bottom of my one. Look at that. Going over it again. Again, the wood just sucks it right in. And I could even see about some highlight. Get some extra sparkle. With the silver on top, it almost looks like I got a little bit of snow on my numbers. I'm bringing in more of the Faber Castell because I'm noticing as I kind of tip my little ornament, the ones that have the most sparkle are the Faber Castell metallics. And I really want to help amp up some of that sparkle. See there? See? Oh, it just looks like turning the lights on. How cute is that? All right, I'm going to want to come back and do more detail in the bow, but we're going to set that aside for now. Okay, and every time I touch the edges of these, I'm picking up some of the bark from the outside. It's landing on top. So if you do have the discs, be careful of that. All right, so now I want to kind of have this almost like bokeh effect going on some of this. I want it to look like it's snowing. And I knew this one would probably take me longer than this one. But that was, how quick and easy was that? And you could even take a black fine liner and just line that out if you wanted to, and then boom, that's done. How simple and easy is that? I love it. Okay. So on this one, I want like a bokeh effect. So I'm going to take a little bit of this, what's left over here, like my white where I touched with my blue in here, because it's going to be slightly lighter than this. And here's where I'm going to take the circle, and we're going to see if this will work. And I'm just going to take different sizes. And I want to see if I go in this, right, and then touch. I want to see if I can lift off and just get a nice, soft, faint. And I want to make sure that I don't have paint on the bottom, because I'll set it down somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe if I just make it lighter from the get-go. All right. Now, see, it just doesn't look, it's not going to look soft and out of focus like that. This was an experiment. I was not sure. You know me, I'm always experimenting. If I touch it with that, how about that? Of course, for that matter, I could just do my circles like this. Right? Like make my circle and then touch it, soften it up. That's a possibility. I'm going to want circles of different sizes though. There we go. I am going to move that. You guys know me and my splattering. Oh my goodness. I'll move that to a safe place. So your snowflakes are going to look completely different than mine. All of ours will look completely different. And I definitely look forward, if you do these, please share them on your social media and tag me. I absolutely would love to see these. I love snow. I love snow. There we go. I do think it's going to definitely have a neat effect if we put some silver. I just want it to sparkle. Have you seen, we get those. We get those here. It'll snow and you just see the snow just glistens and sparkles when the light hits it. Yeah, I want one of those snowflakes. All right, there is my big snowflake. Now I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to test it out and see, can I put that silver on it? So while that one's drying, we need to finish up the bow on this guy. So for the bow, I think I'm just going to take a little bit of my red and just a speck of the black so I can darken that up. Too much. Too much. Just want it to be a little, you know, a little bit darker. So I'm gonna do some shadows. I'm loving the shadow, and the way that that green just kind of popped out there too when I was making the wreath. Yeah, it just looks like it's all shadowed from the... And of course, you could even take some of your dark green. You still get your dark green left. I could take my darkest green. Am I getting dark? Yeah. And if that was darker, it's about the same. So I could make that darker, darken that up just a bit. And now, there, I can even throw some shadowing. The bow might be casting on the wreath itself. There we go. I like it. And I still have the other green. If I get a spot, like there's one spot I wasn't really thrilled with, well, I'll just make it go away. There. All right. Hopefully that is dry enough that we can see what we can do with some of this silver. Let me see. I'm just going to test in a couple little spots first. I want to be a little inconspicuous. All right, it does. If I barely touch it, I can get, yep, if I barely touch it, I can get some thin lines, which is what I want. I don't want to do the whole thing. I just want to go over some areas where, you know, the parts that I wanted to look frosty and see-through, like they were glass. I'm just kind of touching some of those little, you know, some of the little dots along the edge. Oh, and just, guys, can you see now? Can you see the sparkle in that snowflake? I love it. I love it. If some areas don't have enough, you know, just go back over, touch them in again. I love the sparkle that it's catching now. I can just picture this like hanging on a tree with all the lights just shimmering. All right, so that has to dry. This one should be good to go. I am using the Gloss Medium and Varnish by Liquitex. Okay, and I am going to take my, again, my 3/4 inch, And, well, should I let these dry longer before I do this? I don't know. You guys could be yelling at me right now going, don't do it, because it looks so beautiful and I'm going to mess it up. But we are about to find out. My palette is pretty full, so I'm going to grab this little handy. I keep this on my desk almost all the time. And I'm just going to put, it's not exactly, let me just make sure. If that's watercolor, it'll come right out. Yeah. Looked like maybe some watercolor, maybe some gouache. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put some of this on here, and we are going to put that on our ornaments and see what we get. I like it. And I could really see that. Look at that now. Imagine that on the Christmas tree and just with that shine, just catching the sparkle. I'm definitely making more of these. I really like that ornament. I gotta say, I love snowflakes, but I think the way that that wreath came out, I think that is my favorite of the two. So you can see the 2021. I love it. I will, of course, put the strings in these and, you know, jump back to the past and pop these in at the beginning of the video to show you the projects we were making today. So you've already seen them. I hope that you guys are enjoying the Christmas episodes that I have been putting out and are enjoying the projects that we are making. You don't have to do them exactly the way I do. Again, like these, you could have done on cut chipboard or watercolor paper, or, you know, even put this on a card and made a Christmas card out of it. But I hope you are enjoying these videos and will continue to watch. And if you've missed any, I will put a link right here so that you can see those. I hope you're enjoying the start of your holiday season. And keep creating. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.